Welcome to another edition of the Yonkers Voice. Today I sit with you with Virginia Perez.
Hello.
Our domestic violence. It should be known to the public that all domestic violence issues should be taken serious. We're bringing information to you not as an attorney. Anybody who's been a victim of domestic violence or knows somebody that has been a victim of domestic violence, please reach out to the appropriate channels. We have today Virginia Perez that we just happened to walk into. And Virginia had brought some real good information to us as far as domestic violence is concerned and how gender unbiased it is.
That's correct. Well, you have to catch me on Casual Wednesday.
It is a Casual Wednesday.
Casual Wednesday.
We did run into Virginia. Thank you, Lord.
It was great. It was perfect. Beautiful sunny summer day. Yeah, it's definitely a big issue. And I've happened to actually run into situations with constituents where it's usually the female who is the victim. We all know that a large percentage of the victim happens to be a woman and their children. But a lot of people probably are failing to realize or recognize is that men are also victims of domestic violence issues. The problem is it's not very publicized. Why is that? When we can find the answer, I would love to know the answer. I don't know if it's because they just won't report it. They may be embarrassed to report it, or afraid to report it, or afraid of not being taken serious if reported. But one thing is for sure is that the services that are being provided to domestic violence victims are services that are gender neutral, not gender biased. So all the services that are out there for women and their children and their families who are victims of domestic violence, the same services are provided for men as well. It's just that we need to have more men come forward and seek those services that are being given to the community.
What are some of the tall tale signs, in your opinion, Virginia, that are domestic violence? There's a domestic violence wheel. Anybody who Googles domestic violence, there is a domestic violence wheel. And this encumbers an entire amount of various scenarios that people aren't aware of. They don't know they're domestic. They don't know that they're victims of domestic violence. They're stuck in a way of life and feel that this is the way everybody lives. And what are the couple of questions here? One is, what are the simple things that men can do to protect themselves from domestic violence? Where could they go? If you Google right now, I'm a victim of domestic violence, and I challenge any of our viewers to go ahead and do that as we're talking. Google on another screen, I'm a victim of domestic violence. And if you're a male, where do you go? These are challenges that we've, as men, have looked into, and unfortunately, it doesn't appear to me that men have a place to go or are embarrassed. And one thing I will tell you folks is this: if you are a male, if you feel that you're in danger, if you feel that you're going crazy, you're not. What's not recorded never happened. You must take action. Protect yourself. Protect your children. File a report with the local police department. And all too many times, what I'm seeing happen is women are taking advantage of the systems that are put into place, some with legitimate issues, some with not so legitimate issues, some as using the system as a catalyst for custody, as a catalyst for a monthly payment. Men aren't seeing their fathers, they're being labeled deadbeat dads, they're unable to keep and maintain stable employment. What do we tell the dad that's been hardened by these systems?
Exactly, and those are valid concerns for any man to have. And we all know the process is there, the system is there, the services are there. We all know that we do have people who do have legitimate claims, and we all know that sadly some people will abuse the system. But it is up to, for example, legal services of the Hudson Valley. When you first of all, first step, you file a report because what you said was not recorded, never happened. So first things first, you file a report. After filing a report, you follow through. You know, you will go through the legal services of the Hudson Valley. You will go through family court. You will see a judge. You know, get family services and assistance, and so on and so on. And you will have people who are specialists assigned to your particular case or matter. I almost lost my train of thought because I have so much information just flowing about in my head. So after you follow through, it is up to our courthouse and the judges and you know and our authorities to investigate the matter or the report that you recently filed, and to see whether it is legitimate or not. You know, the system will go ahead. So it is up to our authorities and the judges and family court to investigate the matter and follow through to see if there was a legitimate claim or not. If it's not a legitimate claim, then they will take whatever steps were necessary to clarify and rectify the situation. If there are legitimate claims, then they will go ahead and do everything that is necessary to give the appropriate services to the family, whether the victim was the female or the male in such case. You asked earlier, what are some of the, you know, telltale signs of domestic violence?
Sure.
Well, I'm not a family expert, but just general observation. You know, you will see, for example, stress in the family. There are a lot of people who, and we all know this, when people have money issues in the family, when money isn't concerned, it brings stress into a family or to a marriage, and then domestic violence will erupt from there. You know, a lot of people who, especially people from the minority, you know, Hispanics or any other group of minority, who may be having legal matters or immigration issues, that will create stress in the family, and domestic violence can erupt from there.
Let me stop you there. The immigration issue seems to be a big problem today.
Yes.
Many of our viewers, many of our members are involved, or we've been contacted, I should say, with really, you know, very wicked issues. Somebody comes from out of the United States, they're married here in the United States, they're a victim of domestic violence. Now, whether you're male or female, there are services to help you.
Yes.
And in fact, if you do follow the appropriate procedures and protocols, as I understand, you will have an immigration. You are protected under the domestic violence laws that have been put in place.
I've looked into something like this in the past, actually, recently in the past, and depending the country where you come from, a lot of this information is available. Obviously, we know in the internet, but for those who don't have internet available, which is a little hard to believe because it's available to anyone, but for those who probably don't know how to go forward about getting a hold of this information, then, you know, people from the legal services of the Hudson Valley can walk you, you know, in the right direction. But anyhow, I've looked into this information in the past, and depending on the country that you come from, you will get in touch with the consular's office, and there are a series of forms and applications that you will go ahead and file and go for a certain interview, and you can apply under, I believe is some kind of a visa or that has to do with being a victim of domestic violence, and it will show you, it's a whole series of steps, and it will show you a whole series of special circumstances. So depending on the country that you come from, everything you need you will find in the website of the consular's office of your particular country. So the information is there. It's just pretty much educating yourself and finding the right people to talk to. And the right people are always right there. You start with your local authorities, you start with your local church group or support group, your close friends and family. There's definitely always someone there that you can talk to and who can guide you step by step.
And let me just conclude with a couple of kind words. Men, you may be a victim of domestic violence. Please reach out to the appropriate channels. If you feel a threat, if you feel intimidated, please dial 911, call your police department, leave the home, get into safety. And that goes for women too. Do not leave the children in harm's way. As a matter of statistic, we know that more than 87.4% of men are non-custodial parents. Dads, it's time to take action.
Yes, it's time to put families back together, basically. Thank you.
Reporting to you from Dolphin Restaurant Lounge, thanks for joining us and have a great day.
I'm glad I bumped into you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.